I was broke. Yeah, it's a state of mind, you gotta know. Yeah, that it's gonna happen for sure. Had to take my time, take it slow. Yeah, I've been saying I was rich since I was broke. Yeah, it's a state of mind, you gotta know. Yeah, that it's gonna happen for sure. Had to take my time, take it slow. Yeah, always felt myself, this isn't new. Always felt I had some shit to prove. Not to you though, to me. Vin Diesel voice, I roll deep. When local girls with a dream, girls, it's 10 years with no sleep. That ain't a Nissan, that's a McLaren. That's what I told myself, that's how I got it. I recognize the thoughts in my mind were directly connected to what's in my pockets. It's in your head, money will come. Soon as you feel like you already have it. Napoleon Hill, Deepak and Paolo. That's what I read and I made this shit happen. I've been saying I was rich since I was broke. Yeah, it's a state of mind, you gotta know. Yeah, that it's gonna happen for sure. Had to take my time, take it slow. Yeah, I've been saying I was rich since I was broke. Yeah, it's a state of mind, you gotta know. Yeah, that it's gonna happen for sure. Had to take my time, take it slow. Yeah, get lost in yourself, that's how you find you. Focus on what fuels you and drives you. Recognize the power inside you. Chase your passion, don't chase the money. I knew it was all on me, all my best were all on me. I knew if I called the universe enough, it called on me. I believed in non-existent, all my thoughts into fruition. Poke the universe enough, it turns around and grants you wishes. I've been saying I was rich since I was broke. Yeah, it's a state of mind, you gotta know. Yeah, that it's gonna happen for sure. Had to take my time, take it slow. Yeah, I've been saying I was rich since I was broke. Yeah, it's a state of mind, you gotta know. Yeah, that it's gonna happen for sure. Had to take my time, take it slow. Pull up in motorcades, I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do, hustle and motivate. Choppers a throwaway, hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, They think I know the way, cause I took control of things, ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Slossin' that soldier race, niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the buildings, make you expose your rage. Take you across the tracks, make you explode the face. Now you official now, but you got a soul to save. I just been cooking that note, I'm about to drop in a few. Think if I call it the great, the people gon' call it the truth. I ain't really trip on the credit, I just paid all of my dues. I just respected the game, got my name all in the news. Tripping on all of my moves, quote me on this, got a lot more to prove. Remember I came in this bitch, fresh out the county with nothing to lose. For nothing, no. Wanna count on you, but I don't do this shit for nothing. No, not at all. You, but my money real, that you do. Oh yeah, so I don't do this shit for nothing. I never left, stand for some shit that you never read. Passing through stages in life, through the ups and the downs, like it's all just another test. Live by the rules like a fucking ref. I got respect in 100 sets. Too many chains need another chest. Glad no games if it wasn't chess. Come from that cloth that you couldn't stretch. Come from that circle you couldn't test. Heavily pressured and under stress, even though niggas ain't sure we was a mess. Honest attempt, blame to the left. Judge a young nigga by their dress. Left us no option, what they expect? Only thing we knew for sure is the bang the set. Fuck living basic, I'm taking risks. Fuck what they saying, I'm saying this. Don't waste your time, it don't make you rich, it don't mean nothing, so fuck them, let's make a grip. Double up, triple up, make assist. Ballin' so hard you can play a bitch. Lead to the lake if they wanna fish. Make sure them niggas around you stick to the script. It should be written in stone. You should come visit my zone. Don't take my word, double check all of my flows. Ask them how hustle got on, but fuck what you heard. This for who walked down that road. Sold everything but they sold, straight off the curb. Real niggas rich as you nerds. Address to whom and make it so. Don't do this for nothing. Yeah. Ain't no fucking way I'm going back. Got way too much shit to take care of. And I'm having way too much fun pissing y'all off. It's starting to look real rough out here for y'all. This is the beginning too. Yeah, come on, come on. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. Splitting five and make doubles. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When there was no rush, just rustle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When my pride so much, let the puddle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When I stay tapped into that hustle, I ain't going back, I ain't going back. Splitting five and make doubles. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When there was no rush, just rustle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When my pride so much, let the puddle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When I stay tapped into that hustle, I go way harder than most of y'all. If one of y'all die, wouldn't toast to y'all. I don't really care to get close to y'all. I live in the gym, I'm supposed to ball. Mom was applying for the food stamps. Every night studio boot camps. All I had then was a lot of free time. She grinding my mind in my two hands. And the same confidence that I have right now was more back then, to be honest. Before the world got a hold of me and started controlling me, now I'm more tapped into the comments than I should be. I admit that. So fuck y'all, give me my dick back. Middle finger gift wrap for the chit chat. And to anyone thinking I should quit rap, I ain't going back, nah. Splitting five and make doubles. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When there was no rush, just rustle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When my pride so much, let the puddle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When I stay tapped into that hustle, I ain't going back, I ain't going back. Splitting five and make doubles. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When there was no rush, just rustle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When my pride so much, let the puddle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When I stay tapped into that hustle. Who's in my league? Not you. Who makes your beats? Not you. Who does your hooks? Not you. Bitch, I'm elite, top two and not two. Bitch, I'm the one. It's crazy to think that I barely begun. Already on Forbes, already in stables. I still got 4 years till my 20s are done. I'm having my fun. My house is a brothel. I'm fucking the Baptist. A pussy is gospel. Your life is awful. That ain't my fault. Yell at your mirror. Go talk to your God. I'm not letting up. Fuck how you feel. I got my boots laced and I'm out. I threw 20K in my studio. I brought the blue flame to my house. I ain't going back. Splitting five and make doubles. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When there was no rush, just rustle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When my pride so much, let the puddle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When I stay tapped into that hustle, I ain't going back, I ain't going back. Splitting five and make doubles. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When there was no rush, just rustle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When my pride so much, let the puddle. I ain't going back, I ain't going back. When I stay tapped into that hustle.
Tell where my head was at when you found me. Me and you went to hell and back just to find peace. Man, I thought I had everything, I was lonely. Now you're my everything, I was lonely. I missed a lot of love with a lot of drugs, then I found you. She liked petty crime, she had green eyes like Mountain Dew. And where she go, I'll never know, her friends bounce to. I guess it's their loss, cause they'll never know what we'll amount to. And would you be my light, be my yellow? PYT walking down Portobello, put a smile on his face. At the end of the day, MDMA helped us fly away. Who'd have known you would save my life? Who'd have known you would fly my kite? Could you tell, could you tell? Could you tell? Could you tell where my head was at when you found me? Me and you went to hell and back just to find peace. Man, I thought I had everything, I was lonely. Now you're my everything, I was lonely. Yeah, 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 I remember I was all alone. Late night you would call my phone just to check if I was blessed cause you knew I was low. Head gone rolling off the throne. I remember we was in the park. Late night made love on the grass. Got my head in the clouds counting all my stars. In my ear said the world was ours. Went to hell and back just to heal my wounds. Cause it gets like that, wrong side of the moon. No Tutankhamun, you're my Cleopatra. No side thing, don't need a backer. Need a real one, don't need an actor. A lost one's faith, think you want a BAFTA. Come and be my girl. Yeah. Could you tell where my head was at when you found me? Me and you went to hell and back just to find peace. And I thought I had everything, I was lonely. Now you're my everything, I was lonely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I live inside my enemy's head, rent free. I ain't never met you, but you met me. It must be the Hennessy, it must be the weed. Bunch of fucking bitches all against me. I live inside my enemy's head, rent free. I ain't never met you, but you met me. It must be the Hennessy, it must be the weed. Bunch of fucking bitches all against me. Yeah. Y'all ain't showing love until I die. So I don't wanna anyway, then goodbye. I ain't about to switch up to gain y'all's love. Cause y'all don't even love yourselves, but I love us. Know y'all really wanna help your mom out too. Know y'all really wanna flex and buy new coups. Know y'all really wanna jet but not jet blue. Know y'all really wanna groupie chick too. When you're everything to not, they get real hurt. Cause they look into the mirror and see you first. You be fucking up the day before it starts. They don't wanna go to work and drive that car. They don't wanna see their mom and dad break up. They wanna see $1 million when they wake up. They wanna have what you have, they envy you. No matter how hard they try, they can't. I live inside my enemy's head, rent free. Yeah, I ain't never met you, but you met me. It must be the Hennessy, it must be the weed. Bunch of fucking bitches all against me. I live inside my enemy's head, rent free. I ain't never met you, but you met me. It must be the Hennessy, it must be the weed. Bunch of fucking bitches all against me. I ain't never gonna stop, I don't care what you say. I wave from the top, you get toppled by the wave. Tell the women next to you that are looking this way, that I'm only trying to fuck, I ain't really trying to date. It irks you, don't it? You versus you, you're your first opponent. Every building, every street, every curb, I own it. That's a lot of real estate that you gave to a stranger. Learn to transmute your anger, but you can't, so it is what it is. Fuck you, I don't got enough nuts to go around just two. No one gonna figure out your life, just you. And I'm bumming Dom Kennedy, just be cool. I live inside my enemy's head, rent free. Yeah, I ain't never met you, but you met me. It must be the Hennessy, it must be the weed. Bunch of fucking bitches all against me. I live inside my enemy's head, rent free. I ain't never met you, but you met me. It must be the Hennessy, it must be the weed. Bunch of fucking bitches all against me.
He just got
close to floating above the water, but you took my hand and you dragged me under, and I'm drowning for your love. Now I'm drowning for your love. What's up, guys? All right, let's do it. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the session once again. It's Taco Tuesday. Let's make it happen. That song? Oh, that last song? Yeah, I like that one. That one's Drowning. Drowning by Just a Gent. Just a Gent. Had some Russ playing. A little bit of Nipsey. Morning. All right, beautiful. So let's get into it. What's good? Brandon, Sen. We got Kai, Patrick, Edwin, Harshi, Amy. What's good? Jose Alejandro Rosa Porras, Corey. I know we got Kazakhstan, Denver, Colorado. Greg, what's good? Joe, Seth, Hima, saludos. Gabriel. Shout out to everyone that just got funded here. We've had like every day people are getting funded. At least that you're finally sharing. You're in a 6M cell. My entry was a bit lower. Awesome. We'll check it out. So Dow is in a zone. However, I'm not going to take this buy considering where we're at with NQ and S&P. And I'll go over that here in a second. Buenos dias, Tradetopia. What's up, Michael? Jesus. What's happening, Vaughn? Marty, morning. Dre, what's good? Okay, so let's get into it. Let's dive right in. If you guys have any specific setups, let me know. I see you're in a 6M trade. So I'm going to dive into indices first. Oil did just react out of a zone. So I don't know how many of you caught this setup here. It was a nice little move out of this area up here. I feel like it didn't go too deep into the zone, so I didn't get triggered into this. But was a beautiful setup. Really nice. Takes out the high one last time. So all these sellers here, sad, right? And then it just comes tumbling down. So, yeah, missed the entry. Okay, cool. So if anybody caught it, I hope, this just pays you, Keep getting paid. It's taco days. So here's the spectrum. Here's how Taco Tuesdays work around here. If we catch a 2R, that's tacos. We get some tacos. If we catch a 3R, that's burritos. If we catch a 4R and above, that's enchiladas. Everyone gets to eat. It's a whole fiesta. All right, cool. So DXY just broke a trend line that's been riding since 2008 and mitigated a 1 hour zone. Sweet. Remember, DXY is a reflection of the currency pairs. DXY does not create the movement. Okay, so let's go take a look at a couple of things. Metals yesterday gave really cool setups. If you guys, hopefully you caught that as well. I wasn't on screen, so I just missed out, sadly. But let's look at indices. So I'll get to metals here in a second. They're not as, I would say, time sensitive. So I'll start again with Dow here. Dow has just been extremely bearish. Super bearish since London session. Honestly, I mean, since the end of New York session. So yesterday we had Dow just absolutely ripping. And then at the very end of New York session, it just starts to crash. Whereas NQ, on the other hand, NQ is kind of holding down a much more
bearish price action over here. So during these same times, and then it basically loses its steam right at the end of New York session, starting Tokyo session. So we've only been bullish during Asian session, and then pretty choppy during London session here for NASDAQ, while the other way around, Dow has only been bleeding out. It's just been falling and falling and falling. I won't say that since London session here, let's say the last 3 to 4 hours, I'm not saying that they've been moving in opposite directions, but there's just been way more bearish for Dow. So buying the asset that's just been bleeding out, I kind of struggle with taking a position here. Here is where I would have liked to buy, but with all of this momentum it's had to the downside, and considering that NQ has a lot of incentive to work its way down to here, I feel like, yeah, there's more incentive for price to go down for NQ, and you have another push down here. So like in this pocket here, for price to work its way down. So if Nasdaq's going to go and break London lows, trade it into Asian session imbalance, and kind of get into this area, if this is going to happen, then more than likely we're going to see Dow continue to work its way down, unless it's going to move in opposite directions. So this is some of the trickiest price action, because this is where we see at times that they'll just move away from each other. So for example, Dow here could trade to the upside. So we could see a setup like this, and then Dow wants to kind of recover, trading back up into this range. Now here's where I want to see a sell later on today out of this London high over here. You see Tokyo build up, consolidation, retail sellers, and then we see a nice sweep of this high before it all comes crashing down. So we could definitely see something out of here. So this looks like a very clean setup. This is something I would definitely want to take, but it's going to respond to what the market's got to show us now. So it's hit or miss here. You know, I think there's some red flags with NQ being all the way up here, being able to take out London lows and fill this imbalance. But if we're going to see Dow start to rip from here, I mean, that's also a possibility. With that being said, I mean, S&P and NQ have the exact same setup. So S&P could work its way down to here. NQ could work its way all the way down to here as well. So it's the same setup, same scenario. Yeah. So I'm a little torn. On this idea with Dow. Part of me wants to take it, but I know that it's definitely not really appropriate. But they're so far away from each other. Like, these are just in different, like completely different structures. It's not like, oh, NQ is just kind of lagging behind. Like, NQ and S&P are way up here, and Dow is way down here. They're just in different parts of the market, just in general. So when they're kind of just like unrelated to one another at the moment. Either way, yeah, it's just the price action is just holding up a lot more bullish with NASDAQ. So, I mean, like, I'm not going to take this, but that's kind of how I'm perceiving it. There's just more motive for NQ and S&P to keep going lower. So I'm not as enticed to take a position here. It's very possible this plays out. If you want to take a very tiny risk, it's like, go ahead. Know what your risk is. For example, typically I risk $500 per account that I trade. So this I would not take $500 risk on. If anything, I would take I don't know, not even half a risk on. I'm just like, we're just in such a different trading environment. If we're going to get reversals, like we haven't even seen NQ take out London lows yet. So there's just a lot of motive for it to go down. The only difference is I think these aren't going to trade together. I don't think they're going to trade together to start the day. I feel like these are trading away from each other. So if I wanted to take something in super small, even like a quarter R risk, just for the sake of seeing this play out, I mean, I guess I could. Seeing if we get all the way over to here. So it would have to be like, I don't know, 125 or something. And I don't even think I'd have it. I'd have to do micros anyways. But here's New York Open. Kicking things off. For whatever reason, I can't click through this. Here we go. I would have taken it right there, too. I was about to take a small risk version, but apparently I needed a little bit more contracts, but that's fine. So starting to see the reaction out of here. And again, my thought process was the only reason I felt a bit better was just they're in such entirely different places to trade right now. Like they are in just completely different structures. So now we're starting to see NASDAQ break through, take out London lows. From here, you might start to see Dow actually start to rip. There it goes. So had I just been on the micros here to kick things off, whew. But either way, I'm not really too concerned about this idea. I got the initial reaction. Nice little boom, 90 points. Whatever. Not something that long term, it just fit the model exactly, right? So we're seeing now Dow work its way down, S&P slowly, and then NQ takes out London lows and then instantly maintains this area. So the big setup, like what are the setups that I'm waiting for right now? Number one, it's the setup over here, which is the London high. Curious if we work our way up to here. But this is the very, very, very obvious setup with Dow. Way up here. So we got this bad boy that we're waiting for. This one's already basically, in my opinion, set in stone, ready to go. It's just a matter of patience. We did see Dow break below all of this, starting to trade. Let me zoom out a little bit. Starting to trade into the open. So the open of the week had us gap down and then work its way up. So we had this going on over here. So filling a lot of this imbalance, playing out of maybe an order block over here. So, but S&P and NQ have the exact same thing, right? Those at some point will probably want to work their way down there. So since we're kind of seeing Dow be the bear, I'm looking to stay away from buys. All right, so that's, we're taking advantage of that, aware of that. Now, Dow, to kick this session off, took out a bit of liquidity here, about 45 minutes worth of retail sellers, and then immediately crashed down. So some people would want to sell out of here. You see the spike up on Dow. So I am not going to sell here. Reason being, we have, for me, we haven't proven that we're bearish. We saw the market crash down, but this move to me shows a capture of liquidity, it's not confirming a lower low. It's not confirming a bearish trend. So yeah, I would just stay out of this. Like I wouldn't look to sell this yet, unless we come back down and we just maintain bearish structure. Other than that, then yeah, not so much. So there is Dow, kind of a play-by-play there. staying aware of what's going on here. NQ choppy, down, up, back down. So still not really committing to any direction either. If anything, it's showing a bit more signs of bearish structure. So if anything, there's a chance that we might actually break above this here. We may trade higher, break through, and if that's the case, this may end up kind of giving us a buy scenario. So we'll see if that's how this ends up playing out. I'll have my alert here in case we do break through, and then, you know, this just kind of completely reorganizes how price is supposed to be perceived here. So you can't get too caught up in the 1 minute and the 5 minute. You got to keep the context of, you know, where price is at, why it's moving the way it's moving. That way we can interpret information best, understand, you know, movement more effectively. And then NQ. Yeah, NQ pushing down. So if you notice, guys, this is moving now, like I kind of mentioned earlier, these are moving in opposite directions to one another. That's what we're getting now. And Q looks like he kind of wants to trade lower. And Dow looks like he wants to go higher. I would prefer the sell up here on NQ. Had a nice little move here. Right, takes out those highs, comes crashing down. All right, now we're starting to work our way down to here. Very nice. This is the structure that we're in right now. So taking a look at NQ, you see this push to the downside right there. This move clears out several hours worth of buyers trading into, not quite into New York Open, but pretty close. And then here we have very similar, very close to making equal lows, not quite. Let me go check out NQ just so we have slightly more precise chart here. NQ trades right into here. These are a little sketchy. This right here, equal lows. I don't love that. Nice push down to here, but this does create more liquidity. We have another push down before it rallies. So you might get a reaction out of here, but this looks like it's still going to be a target. So here's where we're at with NASDAQ. Meanwhile, S&P is not dropping with the same intensity. So look at how NQ is about to reach like this type of trade right here, this zone. S&P lagging way behind. So I'd rather take a shot at S&P for buys over here. The rare S&P buy. And then looking at NQ, not MNQ, but just NQ, which is a more precise data feed. It's still up here. Like we were looking at possible shorts over here, right? Still pretty close. I mean, this does take out quite a bit of sellers, but you then have more retail sellers right here. I think we're better off waiting for a sell up in this range for NQ over here. Yeah. So Yeah, so taking in consideration all of the above now, what makes the most sense, in my opinion, would be the buys on S&P rather than the buys on NQ. And if you want to get a better take at this, just draw your structure from the low to the high. Have a good perspective here. So we're sitting at between like a 618, 50% pullback on NASDAQ. Meanwhile, S&P is sitting at, so now I'm starting to see a bit more of a push to the downside, but it is slightly under the 50%. So now they're both starting to rally. I guess we'll see. How we work our way down. That, I'm sure, has something to do with Dow over here. All right, looks like Dow did, despite the very brief low right here, it does reject from the New York Open and then crash back down. Still wasn't worth a trade for me. And the sell up here makes the most sense still. Okay. So I'm going to come back to indices here once we are getting a bit closer to some opportunity. For now, not quite there yet. Yeah, just need more candles printing. Need to get closer to our points of interest. So NQ, S&P ripping up again. And then Dow kind of slowly working its way higher. All right, anyways. So while all that's going down, yesterday I had a Australian little shakeout setup that gave us some movement. Got me into profit, but then just really ended up doing nothing. And so I ended up break even on this shakeout idea before it took out the high one more time and then crashed down to get to the target. So with majors, actually, I'm just going to skip the majors for a second. And let's just go into gold and silver, yeah? We'll come back to that. Gold and silver typically are creating way more setups than the majors are. Okay. All right. So, one sec. It's getting too hot under this sweater. All right. So, for learning purposes, we had gold and silver create amazing setups yesterday. So right off the rip, right before New York session ends, we see a break below liquidity, fill the gaps, and then come right back in up to here. So rebalances. Silver does the same thing. So here's gold, here's silver. Silver, you see clear out all of these retail buyers. Fill the gaps, trade all the way down to here, and then we climb our way back up. So we fill the imbalance. This is giving the classic break and retest. So this lures in break and retest sellers, dips right back down. So dips right down into this level, and then from here, the market just pops. So right out of here, it just starts to send it. And, it trades really well. We have, I was a couple minutes too late. I heard the alert, and then I didn't get to my computer quick enough. But even if you just took this to this area where it started to stall out a little bit, over at 2R, if you held through, I don't know how you manage your trade, But if you happen to manage and respect the imbalance here, then this did give you up to 3.4R, give or take. So either way, pretty solid setup. I think worst case, you probably did maybe like a 1R if it tagged you out somewhere in this imbalance. But yeah, anyways, good setup, quality movement. From here, what do we have now, right? Where are we with the market here? And right now, as I'm looking at metals, to me, we have gold with more bullish momentum. We have a lot of, there's just a lot of liquidity sitting up here. So New York highs, London highs. I do think we're going to end up clearing these again and get above 5,100. So I don't think this is over quite yet. So the question becomes where, right? Where can we get into buying opportunities here with metals? Real quick, guys, let me just be able to have indices so we can kind of check back in quickly if we need to. All right, these are chilling. So, and one thing I just want to keep in mind here, when you're looking at gold, especially if you're trading futures, remember you want to use the mini chart, so GCG and not MGC. Like, this chart is going to be the most precise data feed. If you look at the difference here, if you look at MGC had a wick, a bigger wick down to here. So like right here where the market opens, it just kind of creates this big wick. GCG doesn't have that. All right, that's not a thing. So just for perspective and just so your entries and everything are more precise, I just want to make sure you guys are on point and familiar with all that. Anyways, so we see a big spike down and then the rally. We get higher highs and we've just kind of been chopping up in here. But I don't think we've really worked our way down to close off this big sell-off before the market rallied. So I think we have smart money will want to work its way down to here at some point, whether it's before it clears these highs or after. So looking at price before, when it dropped and then rallied, these are lows from Tokyo session, and you can exactly see when money comes in to start to push the market down. So getting back towards this like 50.34.4, right into this range, more likely that the market trades into this area here, 50.25, like this zone. I think it's pretty likely that we see the market trade down into this 50.26. So yeah, we haven't quite gotten here yet. So I can definitely see us working our way over to this area for another trade. And then that would, I'd say something like this. Kind of a big stop. You could use this wick here as your stop as well, since price is pretty efficient going down into here. So it's really up to you if you want to tighten it, if you want to risk that or not. So that's this like 645 push down. And then, of course, silver. If you look over to silver, silver also has that similar push down at the exact same time. So we can go take a look at silver. The only reason I'm not looking to buy silver is that it's just a bit more bearish. It's already been, it's a lot closer to that specific zone. So if you go look at this right here, here's silver, basically the exact same setup. And then this crashes down from right up here. All right, crashes down from here You definitely see a little bit of a, order blocks right here before it rallies. So if we extend this out, we might have already played out of here. I don't remember. We got pretty close, as you can see here. Got pretty close. But as you all can see now, silver is, it could be minutes away from getting back into this area. So if you look at the structure, we're sitting at almost a 618 pullback at here with silver. Do you have any news today? I don't think so, right? No, just CPI with Australian later. Okay. So, yeah, silver is way more bearish, already working its way down, whereas gold is holding structure significantly higher. Meanwhile, gold's chilling up here. So, like, closer to that 38.2 pullback still. Yo, what's going on here? So, yeah, it looks to me like we'll probably see silver break below this structure, maybe even Tokyo lows, New York lows, and that could push. So look at this. This is already retracing below a 618. And if you look at gold, gold's got longer to go. It's not even really at a 50% pullback yet. So, yeah, I like the setup. And honestly, I think this would take us past New York highs, because now we'd be breaking below quite a bit of, several hours going into Tokyo session. It would be liquidating tons of buyers. That would help drive price up. So, yeah, I like the setup. Going to have it ready with on MGC over here. All right, so it looks like there would be a 6R. If I go up a unit, how much more would I be risking? Oh, okay, that's fine. So I'm going to have this limit set just considering the fact that silver's already, it's already about to trade down into the zone. Okay. All right. Well, while silver and gold are setting up, here's the idea. So I'll send this into this community. GCG. We have today's setups. January 27, 2026. What do you guys think about this idea? Makes sense? Something you're willing to take? You can stay out of that? Let me know. Keep me posted. All right, so NASDAQ is ripping. S&P is ripping. They're about to take out the highs of the day. And Dow is just slowly climbing its way up. So slowly. So, obviously, and these are my rules, right? I'm going to trade the setup that is slowest to approach its zone, that's lagging behind. So we have S&P and NQ as raging bulls over here. These are absolutely ripping. This low that it came down to here when it cleared London session, yeah, this is not bearish whatsoever. So maybe this mitigates here, maybe not, but I'm not going to get in front of the most bullish indice. I'm not going to sell the most bullish indice. That's not what I do. So stay out of that. S&P looks like it's going to take out Tokyo highs as well. That's cool. And then Dow is very, very slow to work its way up. Signs that this sell has a really good chance of playing out. The market just has to go so much further. So it's kind of annoying because you're like, man, I wish I could have taken advantage of, being in a buy with NASDAQ or being in a buy with S&P. But being honest, there just wasn't a setup for me to take. So, nothing I can do now. 1 second, guys. So, NQ takes out London highs. S&P takes out London and Tokyo highs. Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out some more. S&P now trading at a higher time frame. So we're seeing higher time frame structures over here. Let me just check back in with silver and gold real quick, guys. To look at this, silver now working its way down into the zone. If you're independently looking at a smart money buy, people are going to buy this. So, smart money traders are going to go, oh, cool, look, institutional candle or whatever, sell off. Let's just buy in here now. I stay away from correlate this because gold has the same setup and gold is lagging behind. So I'm choosing gold over silver because it's lagging behind. So just to keep y'all in the loop there. And then if it does crack below this low and we're starting to get closer, I'll know I have the alert set. Now, back to indices. Okay, so let me just take this off for a sec. We're starting to see S&P clear liquidity here. Not sure if there's really anything over here. I could take a look at that here in a second. But I want to look at NASDAQ, and NASDAQ now has traded up towards this range. So actually, let me go to NQ and not MNQ, just to keep this really precise. Now we're seeing NASDAQ finally up in this range. And guys, this is higher time frame liquidity now. So I know Dow is like really, really way more bearish, but we're now trading we're in completely different parts of the market. NASDAQ just took out over a month, 5-6 weeks worth of price action, 45 days worth of price action. So NASDAQ could very well mitigate out of here and just dump out of this zone. So whether you want to take a sell with a pretty big stop over here, 60 points it's a pretty good amount. That's a pretty big stop. The market needs to travel quite a bit to be able to give you anything there. But so I do think that since higher time frames, like NQ is targeting higher time frame liquidity, while S&P is trading inside intraday stuff, they're different setups. These are different things going on. So I'm not opposed to the sell on NQ because now they are kind of trading different things, right? And back in December, right, we kind of saw resistance over here around 2670, 2680. So selling out of this range over here now, I get it. I definitely get it. So if we get a shakeout setup on NQ, I think it's worth taking since this is a higher time frame opportunity. Or if we do push a little bit higher, I think that we have a good enough opportunity here. And honestly, these are moving so different from one another. So I think it's worth taking if we go a little bit higher, or if we get a shakeout setup, like something very specific here with NQ. And then depending on how that goes, either it's going to validate NQ buys or it's going to be very short-lived and this is not going to be a structure. So We'll see from here. But the high is up here at 26.1116.25. So let's see. So the sell would be like something like this. And then let's say we took this down to here, you know, back into just like this area over here. It's still over a 2R, trading NQ like this. So this is an option on NQ for it to get, you know, towards this area and then short. Something that I'm okay with taking a half R. My bad. I got to do it on this chart. This is where we're logged in. All right. So I'm cool with it. This spike up might have been it, honestly. See, it just spiked up there. That might have been the move. That might have been the peak, but we'll see. Anyways, with something like this, I'm gonna go half R. I'm not gonna go full R. But let's see. It looks like I need a little bit. There we go. All right. So I'm cool with that. The reason I'm looking to take this is because now higher time frame liquidity has been swept. So we might get a completely, like, now we're just seeing completely different setups overall. So when a lot of money gets swept up on a higher time frame, you do see that shift in momentum. And that might lead this to turn things around. So we'll see. And same thing here. Like, let's say that we quickly work our way down. So like this just starts to drop and this doesn't tag me in. If this ends up, because let's say we don't trade here for very long. This has been a few minutes now, 5 minutes. So if we were to just drop, lure in some buyers, then we might even get a shakeout sell. So let's see here. S&P pushing a little bit higher now again. Dow still pretty much chilling, squeezing. I'm not really looking to take anything over here. My stop would just be too big. So it doesn't really make sense. Let's see what's happening. Gold kind of bouncing over here. So gold hasn't worked its way down yet. Silver's giving a little bit of a bounce first after traded into this order block in the imbalance. Okay. Not worth chasing. I feel like this is going to end up just crashing down anyways. Okay, so let's see. And again, here's the 4-hour setup. All right, basically looking to short and trade out of this big pump that we haven't really dropped out of quite yet. So that's the idea there. Not looking for anything too crazy. Just a little over a 2R here. And that's just keeping it safe. I might stretch this further. I might stretch this to here. If this is just a wick and then it crashes, like if we end up basically getting little proof that this is going to be sustainable, that this high is going to stay up here, then I might even extend it further. But for now, we're chilling here. This is a conservative exit for the time being. S&P left equal highs up there, so not equal highs with ES. Only MES look like equal highs. Okay. So the only reason, right, this is the exception to the rule, at least as far as like the backtesting I've been doing a lot lately. has been only when we start seeing a higher time frame liquidity event, and like right now, for example, Dow is doing its own thing. It's way more bearish, right? But we're in a unique event where NQ is taking out 4-hour liquidity, higher time frame liquidity, 6 week, 45 days worth of price action. So this is where we kind of see that price action swap, where you see, for example, even though this was more bullish, all of a sudden this starts to tank while Dow starts to do something completely separate. Okay, silver starting to work its way down again. Will that push gold down another notch? Maybe. All right. So while that's playing out, while these are just unfolding, let's take a look at oil, and then we can take a look at majors. So oil did a good job selling out of that zone up there. Came back into where we saw structure. These previous points of resistance tend to function as support. So, of course, typically you get a little bounce. Whether that's going to be sustainable, that's a different question. So cool. If you guys took this, hopefully your stops are in profit, break even. I don't think there's a reason to be anything other than that. Okay, so I'm going to come back to indices here again, just because we are now seeing this crash down, right? So NQ pushing down, S&P pushing down, Dow still pushing down. And now at this point, what does this show us? So this, to me, gives us an example that NASDAQ came up here. We traded up here for like 10 minutes, so really not too long. But we clear these 4-hour highs. So I'm going to just delete this real quick. So we clear these 4-hour highs. All right? Takes out the high there, and Q takes out the high on here. We got NQ and ES taking out highs. All right, so for risk reward purposes, right, I didn't get in early enough, like low enough. I was close, but not quite. I wanted, 5 points away, 4 points away, whatever. But anyways, now we see a sweep of these highs. Fantastic. Higher time frame. Take elimination of those highs. At this point, what would it take to get in the market? Right? What would it take to be in this trade? Like to, let's say, trade it somewhere over here. Whether it's NQ or maybe S&P. And, excuse me, I would want to see a buildup of retail buyers. So, for example, I would want to see the market kind of just build up like this, and then we could see the sell-off. So this right now is the break. Typically, you'll see, right, more retail buyers start to get lured in, so that if buys are happening over here, then there's stops below over here as well. And with all of that liquidity, that's the motive. That's what would drive price further down. So I would need to see something like that in order to take a sell. Right now, what we got was the market comes up to here, drops 40-something points. So even then, the idea that we had originally up here, like right over here, could still be valid. Because, take a look at this. The NQ move, the pump, is pretty big. Like this move up here from the past is about 68.50 points. This drop here was about 43. So this breaks the low, but this doesn't stay down here too much, right? This comes right back up. So we might just break above again and then get the move. So I'm still open to this short, to be honest. So it breaks below. This lures in sellers again. This might go one more round to the upside before things turn around here. And again, this is the exception to the rule because it's a higher time frame liquidity capture. And again, I could be wrong. I'm approaching this with half risk. Typically, I risk 500 per account. This is the leader account, and then so I'm risking 250, a little over like 253 or something like that. Meanwhile, gold chilling, not doing too much. Silver looks like it's about to break below again. I'm gonna have an alert here when it cracks the low, the structure low. And if it breaks Tokyo lows, I'm curious. Yeah. All right. I think we just got triggered in. All right, cool. So setup got triggered in. Let's see if now we're trading the higher time frame game. And this thing just bleeds out because it's now successfully wants to, liquidate, mitigate the big buy position from the past. So basically, I'm risking money on this, on the fact that we end up exchanging this massive buy from December where we gapped and everything like this. This Thursday move here, and then we see a tank from there. So that's the play here. Let's see if it plays out or not. It's a half risk trade. Right now, we're only up like, I don't know, 10 points. From here, if the market drops 60, let's just say over 60 points, then now my stops get tightened, break even, and we go from here. So let's go with this for now. We're up about, let's see, collectively like 1,500, no, a little under 1,500. But this is like 0.25 R. Like we're barely moving here. Now, if you don't have an understanding of this trade, you don't have to be in it, right? Like my goal is not to incentivize you like, oh, take everything I trade, be me as a trader. My primary goal always is for you to trade through, one, a abundance state of mind, two, trade through your system, three, be able to conquer those different feelings, whether it's the fear of missing out, the fear of leaving money on the table, the fear, just conquering every single element of the emotional influences that can happen. And if this trade, you're like, I don't know if this is the trade for me, like I just don't get it, or I don't have enough data that this trade would work, then you don't need to trade this, right? You don't need to be in this trade. There's always going to be other ones. Regardless, I'm going to take it. And then it might be something that over time you can add to your arsenal because it's starting to make more sense. Because you have more competence with it. You've gone through, let's say, our resources in our community. You have, you're going through the playbook, or you're just seeing me do this live so much that it clicks. Because we do this for free every single day. Yeah, the continuous chart. Well, the continuous chart won't have the gaps. The continuous chart is exactly that. That's kind of the problem with the continuous chart. That's why I don't trade on the continuous chart, because the continuous chart smooths over data so that it's basically the CFD data chart. The continuous futures chart and CFD charts are pretty similar because they kind of want to average out and smooth over price action instead of just giving you exactly what it is. In profit on the peso sell. That's right. You did talk about a peso play and I didn't get to it in time. I had NQ and we had some metals and all that. So I'm happy for you though. Let's go, Vaughn. All right, so it looks like silver's about to crack this low here. I wonder if it's going to get all the way down to like this New York session low or like Tokyo low right over here. But this breaking this low, I think will put gold into the zone. Let's take a look at the trade that Vaughn took over here. Thing is ripping. What did you take? Yeah, what'd you take? Oh, you're stopped out now? Oh, okay. So you took... I don't know if I get it, honestly. So there was a pump up here, but you never got a break below. So you don't get a lower low. So this takes out the highs. This trades up here for some time, hours. It comes crashing down into the structure, so still stays bullish. And then it comes back over to here. So you short somewhere over here. Yeah, okay. So this is a counter trend trade. You have a 1 minute break of structure, but every minute beyond that is still very bullish. You don't get a break below, and then okay, here is where you get the push. So you get the move up here about 12 ticks, and then you get the drop over here, just about the same, a little bit under. I'd say you could probably move your stops with that. So break even maybe. If you got in, let's see, a little bit higher, then this wasn't enough, and it probably stopped you out. So if you're going counter trend, if you're trying to take a 1 minute setup and you're going against everything, all of the momentum in the world here, so you are getting in front of a train here. I'd say I'd probably go half risk with something like this, especially if you don't even have a 5 minute break. You just got a 1 minute. Half hour loss. Okay, cool. Just reading here the chat. All right, great. Good stuff, guys. So, yeah, NQ kind of playing around. Kind of chopping up back and forth. Not too much movement right away. If anything, Dow is still just tanking. So Dow remains the most bearish and by far. While S&P and NQ not really giving up the move here. So this may not play out, and I'm very much okay with that because I'm willing to see a higher time frame move. Because if that is going to be the case, if this is going to be more of a sweep the 4 hour, liquidate, and then work its way further down, then this could lead to a bigger drop as well. So that could bring us back down to kind of the structure that we're sitting in right now. So for example, right now on the 15 minute, this is a higher high, which is also a really nice trade. Actually, this setup right here was another version of what I'm doing right now, where NQ takes out a week's worth of liquidity. At the same time, YM was trading in a different price action completely, and then we get the big drop and continuation. So it's a similar idea as what we had here last Friday. here now, we had, this is the current structure that we're in. So on the 15-minute or the 1 hour, it depends really, I guess, on how you want to see it. This is the low. This is the high. But possibly, right? This might be the high. So this could be where we start to see things turn around and we work our way back to whether it's over here, this imbalance, or even way down here. So this kind of can be, if there's ever going to be a reason that can cause a major reversal, 4-hour liquidity reversal would be the case. The most conservative would be for this to kind of just trade back into the zone right over here. And then the most ambitious would be for it to work its way down on the higher time frame. But considering that we've been trading up here now for 25 minutes, this is a pretty good proof that like the structure is still bullish here. Yeah, this is maintaining these levels really well. It is starting to build up retail liquidity here too. So retail buyers. So at least we're starting to get something like that. But yeah, so I mean there's signs that this is gonna want to just continue anyways. So I might just manually exit this, because now it's not like we just kind of came up to this area and then just dumped. This has come up, is holding structure really well, and just staying here. Whereas last time we had a similar setup. The market came up to the zone, quickly dropped, and yes, it was squeezing, but at least we started getting lower highs. We started getting a bit more proof quicker. Like we weren't really staying there for too long. All right, so let's take a look at Dow, because I guess Dow could be doing a similar situation, right? Dow could be trading out of extremes as well, and these may go in separate directions. Now we're seeing Dow Jones in this order block. So we're seeing it here. Could see a rejection out of here. Could see things turn around. There's obviously some massive, massive sell-off here before it reverses. It's a little trickier, in my opinion, to buy Dow. One, because it's just there's just way more price action over here. So this could just dump further and further into this. So taking a buy right here, it doesn't really make sense. I haven't backtested just trading these little order blocks enough. So let's say if you were going to take a buy in this order block, then I would just use this as the stop. But considering that Dow has been the most bearish, also, yeah, I don't have enough evidence, like just trading this exact model, where to place an exit. It would be more of like, here's kind of what I'm feeling and vibing, which I don't really want to do, risking thousands of dollars. So yeah, I'd have to build out way more case studies to kind of figure out how to trade a setup like this, if there even is anything to trade here. I get your point though. Like you have a huge push down, massive liquidity capture. The fact that when this gets eaten up right away shows us that there's very little demand here. And then the fact that we also continue bullish all the way up to here and maintain good structure is also proof of that. So yeah, it really kind of comes down to where is this going to trade? At what point does it feel like we're going to get a reversal on here? But I don't have that yet. I don't have that proof yet. So we shall see. I think that there's enough evidence to show that this can just kind of keep going lower though. Quickly coming back to NASDAQ, we did get a nice little drop here. All right, so we're starting to break through a little bit. Not quite mitigation, but we did get a nice drop. At least we're seeing another 30-something points breaking below this liquidity right here. If you want to be extremely conservative and just move your stop to break even, and I kind of get it, but it would technically be breaking my plan if I were to adjust my stop that quickly, considering we haven't quite mitigated from the higher time frame. So I'm gonna just kind of let the market do its thing. I only have half hour at risk anyways, so might as well let it play out. Let's take a look at what have metals been doing. Oh, did they rip? Gold kept pressing. Silver pushing a little bit. So every time silver wants to just go up a little bit, gold's like, all right, go, 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 go. It just starts to go crazy up here. So this is okay with me. That's fine. All right, NQ starting to make another leg down. Getting more and more signs that this can work. About 40-point move now, just shy of that drop. Okay. Starting to see healthy price action as well. We're seeing, and now we're starting to see NQ drop a bit more aggressively than even Dow. Okay. All right, so what I haven't really done quite yet is take a look at majors. So I'll go ahead and do that while we're waiting over here and see where we're at with all these dollar pairs, right? So the dollar's been on an absolute, it's just been getting gutted. So I know Michael talked about DXY earlier. I don't really look at DXY too often, just because DXY is more of a reflection of, it's a reflection of what Euro does. It's pretty cool though. We caught the high of the dollar over here back in January of last year. So it is a good, it's like it averages everything out in a way. You know what I mean? So like we can tell like, all right, the dollar hasn't been this weak since September, and it's trading down towards like this March 2022 price action. So is there something that would cause, let's say, a reversal in the dollar over here? Other examples of some sort of reversal. Now, this is the daily time frame, but back over here, right, could you kind of be looking for something that would give, those types of shifts in momentum? We could go to like the 8-hour or something. Get a little bit more detail, a little bit more context. But yeah, last time the dollar was around here. Maybe over here we had a nice drop and then continuation. This is back in February 2022. Just give you guys a little bit more context there. See a massive dump right here before this rallies. So this is like almost 4 years ago. So if there was going to be a catalyst, this could be an option. But I wouldn't take this as like the law. You know, like, oh, it's all dollars going to reverse out of something like this. This could go lower. everything's pretty smooth. You have an imbalance over here, back down below 91.50, back in 2021. This is like middle of COVID times. So something over here. Could get a reversal around here. Maybe the dollar wants to do something. But anyways, that, or we get the classic, and this might even look different on some other feed. DXY might be lower now or something. No? Okay. All right, so this is whatever TVC data feed shows. So breaking below here, we could see the classic sweep below, come right back in, and so all the dollar data was get to a certain point to induce, fear, to induce a certain amount of money, and then come right back in. So if we were to get something like this, then this could lead to major dollar reversals. So we'll see. I'll have an alert if it breaks below here. Could be cool. Could be interesting. So that's the dollar, all right, averaged out. The thing with the dollar is that DXY, it's like almost 60% of it is the euro. So the euro makes up for the majority of like what the dollar would do. These contracts aren't as useful over here when we're looking back into the past. This is where like the continuous charts kind of help, but the data feed's going to be off. So you can use that at this time. So like if you wanted to search up, all right, like what happened here before? What are we doing over here? When was the last time Australian was up here? And we'd be looking at back in the day, February 2023. And it does look like could be in reversal zones. I don't know exactly where I was looking right now. I mean, you have a huge spike up and down over here. I don't know. I don't love trading futures like that. So I think I would rather just see like price action unfold here and then trade out of what we get there. So I'd rather see something like this. Like have a new setup show up here, and then we can work with that instead of trying to trade off of price action from 3 years ago or something. I think that'd make this a little bit easier. And then, yeah, same thing here. Like you have other assets that aren't trading towards things from long time ago. So like AUD, NZD are starting to climb their way up. But then you can look at Euro, and Euro is trading up here, right? Euro, for example, this could be giving that reversal. It looks like it's trading towards price action from here. So this only brings us back to like September. In September, right, we saw the market trade in this range, gaps up, and you have a short from like right here. We can cross-reference this area. Looks like it tapped into here. I'm not sure if it's mitigated or not, but at least with this time frame, looks like we're in the middle of this right here. So that's 6E. Not considering continuous. If we go to continuous, and I like this because you have previous levels of resistance up here too. So like right there, looks good. I don't know if other setups have something similar. The yen. The yen's trading up here finally. Similar to what we were waiting for. This is November 2025. So the setup is from way closer context with the yen. Anyone in the yen? I feel like Michael's probably all over this or something. He's like stays tracking the yen like this. So for example, the yen pumped, dumped right there. Left some liquidity right there. Actually, we already traded out of here, it looks like. All right. Yeah. It looks like we traded out of here yesterday during London. Okay. So, I mean, trades takes out this high and then just starts to dump from here. So I guess not something I would look for. Whereas the euro is looking at, this is from September 2025. We have some other price action. Let's see. The yen, the pound. All right, so let me do this. I'm going to take a look at what the euro looks like just on a continuous chart. NQ in drawdown now, right around, basically at entry. Looks like it didn't dump enough. And so this move on the continuous chart, interestingly enough, is already trading above it. Interesting. So it looks very different on the continuous chart where it rolls over, smooths over price action. But if we look at otherwise, it's not. Interesting. So 6E right here. Still holding up. So what do you guys think? Is it worth taking the trade? Yes or no? Is it worth the position here? Is there an RR available that would make this worth the trade? Trading the imbalance, taking out London low, maybe taking out London low, or just trading towards these lows. Is this enough of a risk reward to make it worth it? Doesn't seem like it to me. Trading this into a 1.7R, not so much. Maybe a little higher. But honestly, I'd have to double check. I haven't really dealt with trading super far, like trading out of like 6 months, 4 months behind. So I'd have to take a little bit more look at it. I'm not going to take this right now, but maybe if the market looks worth it and I do a little bit more digging, maybe I'll do something there. But indice wise, right, just slightly into some drawdown. S&P has been pushing higher. So has Dow a little bit. It's kind of been squeezing more than anything. So kind of a toss-up. This 4-hour play here, typically this doesn't take this long for things to happen. So I'm very much happy this is only a half-hour trade. I'm going to let it just kind of do its thing. But I feel like from what I've seen, this already would have dropped pretty quickly. It wouldn't have taken so long to happen, to play out. But, you know, we'll see. But anyways, guys, now what's on the radar is gold and silver, right? Gold's still ripping. Didn't quite work its way as low as I would have wanted it to. Silver did respect this zone. I wouldn't be surprised if we still go lower. So keep this gold idea on the radar still. And then oil has another setup down here that I'm still keeping in mind way down here. So I shared this one yesterday. I'll go ahead and share it again today. If I see anything else, if any other new ideas pop up with indices, I'll go ahead and let you guys know here in the community. Oil we have here, and then here is the link to the chart. So yeah, awesome guys. Wish you all the best on the rest of the trading day. Hopefully there's something there that pays you out, gives you nice, rewards you for the tacos today. So yeah, good stuff, guys. Anything you need, go ahead and dial in the community. We're here to serve. We got a whole bunch of people in there, always pretty active, and there's tons of resources available for you to check it out. If you guys are looking for an eval to take, obviously we have a partnership with Tradetopia, but I know LucidTrading also has a 40% off, and that one's for same thing, code StillMago, if you guys want to check that out. And as always, if you guys want to join our 1-year transformational program, it is available to you. And shout out to the boy Nelson, who just got started with us yesterday. Let's make it happen. All right, guys, take care. I'll catch y'all on the next one.